All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Thought I would sit down, do a live for you guys and gals. Since it's a day before, we have time to prepare for this. I'm going to give you the tips to gaining no significant body fat during a Christmas holiday pig out. I'm going to make this very straightforward. Also, for those who come in, please click the like, and let's get some questions going. But let's get into the skinny of this. All right, trick number one: walk into the Christmas feast completely fasted. Do not have any calories first, right? A lot of people are like, oh, no, you drink a protein shake. No, don't even bother. Go in fasted. Go in with no calories at all. I don't even care if you train that morning. I trained today. I'm probably not going to train before my Christmas tomorrow. I did a nice heavy deadlift session today with a lot of deadlift volume. I had a lot of chest and tricep volume yesterday. I have created the need for that food. So, created the need. All right, walk into it fasted. No food, no calories. I don't care if you eat at noon. I don't care if you eat at 2 o'clock. If it's going to be a late one, 3 or 4 o'clock, where you start, okay, have a protein shake. Otherwise, go in fasted. All right, that's number one. Number two, first plate, lean protein and vegetables. Find the turkey breast, find the vegetable tray. Nothing but lean protein and vegetables on the first plate. Okay. Number three, eat whatever you want. Eat whatever you want, and here's why. You have already created an energy deficit with the fasting. You've created a large need for it. You've also going to get from that turkey and the fiber, those all have a thermic effect, right? The protein and the fiber breaking a fast has a thermic effect. It is going to increase energy output, and it's going to fill you up more. It's actually going to be harder to overeat after that. Okay, it's going to blunt your appetite a little bit. It's going to slow down what you eat during the pig out. It's going to make you eat it slower. See where we're going? You're going to get full quicker. Like you're going to reach that point where you're like, man, I'm just stuffed. I can't eat anymore without puking. You're going to reach that point faster. Therefore, you're going to be able to get that full sensation of this ridiculous gluttonous feast. Okay. All right. And what you need to think about there is, as long as you don't take any of the treats home, you won't gain any body fat. I almost guarantee you won't. And here's why. The human body has a very limited capacity to gain fat in a single day. A lot of people are like, no, you could gain 2 pounds of fat a day. No, you can't. It is biologically impossible. There's an upper threshold to your calorie absorption of your GI tract. There's an upper threshold, and it's only like 4,000 or 5,000 calories, depending upon what you're consuming, your energy. It's going to depend a lot on the person. You're going to get to a point where you can't absorb more calories. Okay, but you've already created a deficit, and you've already preloaded with that fiber and protein. You're not going to be able to create an enormous surplus off that single evening meal. You're like, dude, what do you mean, man? I'm going to eat 4,000 calories a pie. Okay, I know you're thinking that, but what's going to end up happening, because you went and fasted, had the thermic effect of the other stuff, you're going to end up with a calorie surplus. It's only like 3,000 calories, 2,500 calories. But what's going to happen, you're getting an enormous thermic effect from it. So you're going to waste most of it. Now, it's going to super compensate your glycogen stores. You're going to gain a bunch of water weight. All right, you're going to gain a bunch of water weight. You might gain several pounds of water from it. Again, for those who don't use freedom units, you might gain a couple kilos of water. It'll be gone in a week. All right, the trick is, after that, do not continue the feast. Right, dude, if you need to eat a whole pie by yourself at that Christmas gathering, go ahead and eat that whole pie. Don't take any of it home. None. Do not take anything home other than the lean protein and the vegetables. All the treats, all that stuff, leave it there. See where we're going? Leave it there. Don't continue the feast. And if you take those pieces of advice, I gave you guys like 4 pieces of advice there, right? If you follow all 4 of those and you don't take anything home, you're going to gain like 2 ounces of body fat at the absolute most. At the absolute most. You can burn that off in 30 minutes on the treadmill. What you are going to have, though, is super compensated glycogen stores. So that means your next workout is going to be baller, right? Go in and crush your next workout. You're going to have all that glycogen super compensation. You have all those leverages. You have all that energy store. Man, go use it to gain some muscle. Use it to put some gains. I'm going to set a PR, a heavy deadlift session, heavy squats, even bench or squat, right? Something that uses leverages. Get in and smash your next workout. So then turn that fuel into gains. And if you do this correctly, you're going to have gained by the week after it's done. You're going to be back to normal. You will have gained no body fat, and you'll be in a really, really good place. Okay, and you can still do that. And you can still enjoy all that treat food, and even kind of pig out on it, because you will have created a different scenario biologically for your body there. Right? This is how you do it, and it will work. It will work amazingly well. It's going to be my strategy. It'll be my strategy. Of course, I can't get too full. I got to drive. I'm the driver for this one. So, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not even going to eat. I'm not going to eat till noon. Right? I'm going to walk in completely fasted on my stuff. I have to space it out a little. I got like 3 parties I got to hit. So that's a viable strategy, guys. All right. There's people in here watching. I know you guys are lurking. Let's get some questions. Let's get some comments. And people weren't expecting this one this early in the day where everybody's like, man, what's Coach doing in this early? Because I'm trying to get some stuff done so I can get ready to be ready for all this. Also, I'm going to link the Facebook page for those who don't follow me there. Give a brother a follow. Be appreciated. All right. There's a bunch of you watching. Why is there no questions? What are you people doing? I've given you guys the information. I've given you the entire strategy, the whole strategy. I might run this a little bit though and see if it fills up. Let me get some peoples in here. All right, let me get some peoples in here. How about that deadlift session today? You guys saw it, right? Pulled 550 for a triple. Looked clean. Looked like I had another rep left. Set it back down on the ground. How's that? How's that for 48-year-old dude? Right? How's that for a 48-year-old dude? How's this for someone who everyone's like, Coach, you're fat. Coach, you got no arms. I think we're making good progress this year. How about I try to make just as much progress next year that I make this year? How's that sound, everybody? What do you think? What do you think? So, the deadlift session. I'm super happy with it. I like being able to come in and do multiple sets of deadlifts, and I've really had to strategize my training right now on my split. And I may go back to 5-day training. I feel like the 6 could be overkill. I'll assess this throughout this week. I almost feel like I've got everything dialed in enough. I can go really, really hard 5 days, get everything I need. All right, 12 to 15 sets of muscle group with really high quality sets, high quality exercise selection. I think it'll work really good. And again, when I say that, though, I do mean still do 15 sets for biceps. I don't mean counting the rows or pull-ups towards my biceps, right? We do need 15 sets for biceps. If I do it that way, though, too, I probably need 15 sets for delts also. Try something to get away with less because I'm doing tons and tons and tons of pressing. 9 or 10 sets, 12 sets maybe. Be good. But that would be the approach. Same thing today. I did 12 sets for glutes and hamstrings. But I feel like that's plenty. When I'm doing 4 heavy sets of deadlifts in there, 12 is a lot because it's going to do deadlifts, glute ham raises, reverse hypers. I'm doing 3 rep ranges. But yeah, I was happy with that today. We got the 550 for a triple, and then I did back down work 500 for 3 sets of 3. And the reason I went lighter on that, for those who didn't catch it, they're still close enough to my reps in reserve to get a training response. I get fatigued really fast after a first top set of deadlifts. Okay. Also, forearms. What do you guys think? How are we doing there? Forearms on point. What people are going to say now? People always want to say something. I want to talk. Where's the hate now? Dealt with a lot of that, right? Where are all the other YouTubers who talk smack? Oh, they're all dead, or they've all had health issues, right? They're out of the game. Yet here I am, which kind of also raises that point. Everyone pulls that line. Blaha abused anabolics for decades. Really? Why am I healthy? Sure about that? Just saying. Why am I still healthy? I'm 48. You guys see what I'm lifting. You see my training. You see my conditioning. I'm in a good place. Why am I healthy? If I did, maybe I didn't abuse anabolics for decades. How about them apples? Maybe I was very conservative and safe. And we're continuing to make progress. Although I do got to bring the delts up. These delts and my biceps still got to come up as we get the waist smaller and tighter, lose body fat, right? It's going to be the plan and hit some big lifts. But I mean, strength is coming up. I'm doing multiple sets of 315 on a pause bench. I'm hitting incline PRs at 500 box squat. I'm doing triples at 550 on the deadlift. I think we're doing okay. Do my work sets with pull-ups with a 45. And that's overhand pull-ups. So, I mean, that's all coming along. I mean, we could argue I'm weak at overhead pressing still. But I know I need to bring my shoulders up. So that's expected. I can't believe we're 12 minutes into that one question with this many people. Nobody got anything. All right. I'll keep talking. We'll wait. Again, I understand this is not a normal peak time, but there's a lot of people off work today. A lot of people off work. So, it's a good time to do this. It's a good time for my time window. I always do another one later, but I probably won't. I may do a coffee chat tomorrow. So I'll run this one a little while because this is probably going to be the only live that you get. So I'll give people a little longer to get in here, right? Target, no, you aren't. You wouldn't have that in your title. I'm actually targeted by game stocking. You're not. You probably, and no offense, you're probably just schizophrenic. You take meds for that. I'm not trying to be mean, just being honest with you. But because I saw someone else who had channels on that, and their stuff was just really, really sad. All right, you have a blog about it. So what is the reason why it's being done? Is it because you're famous or something? Oh gosh, I just saw your thing. Yeah, you're ridiculous. I saw your stuff. Bro, I'm just going to leave that alone. You're not being stuck. The government is game stocking you in Sweden. I don't think so. Ludicrous. If that was the case, you wouldn't be here. Hey, Jason, Jeff Niffer did another video you may like about people attacking science-based lifters. I mean, let's be honest, a lot of these science-based lifters are complete goof-offs. I mean, for example, take the, Milo Wolf. Right? Target, I try to be nice, but I do think kind of your thing might be a little off. I think maybe in the case you're, it's really not happening. You're just perceiving it that way. And that doesn't make you a bad person, by the way. But Phil, let's come over to that. What did he have to say on it? Like, what's the general spin? Is it what I need to do as a current events? Because let's be realistic. I mean, you take guys like Milo Wolf, and he's PhD. with no gains. Was he have a PhD in no gains and a PhD in calling out people who coach world level lifters? Because that's all I can see that he does. It's a guy who stands around talking about LinkedIn partials, minimal gains. He's a one-trick pony. And all he does is call out people who have more experience and have produced better results than he has. Seems to be his MO. So, I mean, you have to look at the people like that and go, wow, what are they even doing? Keeping in mind, he called out me, Lyle McDonald, Paul Carter, people who have all coached national level and higher lifters successfully. And the guy sits there in a shirt looking like he doesn't lift. Can we be fair? When he's sitting there in a shirt, he doesn't look like he lifts. You see me having that problem, right? You see me having that problem. So, what more can you say about some of these guys? They're in a shirt and they don't look like a lifter. But they want to call out other people and they have, I don't know, an advanced degree or PhD. Jeff looks like he lifts them. See, therein lay the difference with Nippard. Jeff practices what he preaches. He has real world experience coaching. He has real world experience lifting. And Jeff has actually got a physique and he's strong. Right? He's got a good strength base, got a good physique. Because people have to remember that too, don't they, Phil? Exercise science is an applied science. What you do on paper doesn't matter. Your litmus test is under a 500-pound barbell squat in the real world in a real athlete. You can't apply it to your actual clients and athletes in the field. It is useless, completely useless. Because it's not a field of general knowledge. It's an applied science. So it only matters what can you do with it. Can your study make athletes better? Does it produce results in the real world? Can it add another $1 million to a pro athlete's contract? Can it get someone to a 500-pound back squat? It had nothing to do with Mike Van Wyck, but he was trying to explain some reasons for choosing scientific training and defending some of the typical bro exercises and techniques. Yeah, but that's exactly the point. Some of the bro stuff has really panned out in research to be dead on, right? Some of it has turned out to be really, really, really accurate, more so than, say, older studies that we were doing 20 years ago. So therein lay the problem. We need exercise science. The problem is that the quality of the studies is still low. It's a lack of funding for things on hypertrophy, lack of funding, lack of enough test subjects, lack of long enough studies, right? It's what makes it very, very limited, unfortunately. But we should still have it and we should still look at it. But, again, at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff though that we realize very quickly works and doesn't work. And you can draw a lot of anecdote, but really isn't that what ends up happening with a lot of the studies? How much of the exercise science is just studying what's already been done in the trenches and the anecdote and seeing if it works in the lab or not and why? You're just studying what's already been shown. So we see that. And in fact, I remember my friend Alex Viata, he dropped out of his biochemistry PhD. He was doing his stuff on hybrid athletes, and he actually was, I believe, a National Merit Scholar for his undergrad. He was doing his PhD in biomechanics and doing it specifically in hybrid athletes. And he dropped out of the PhD program halfway through. And he said the reason was it was taking time away from my coaching. He's like, I was gathering better data and more knowledge coaching in the trenches while making money than I was getting from my PhD. So he's like, I'm literally losing money and losing quality time in the trenches gathering real data. So he dropped out of the program right in the middle of it while it was successful. While successfully doing it, he just dropped out of it. He was like, it's just not a good use of my time. I mean, does that not say something? And he is very much a science pro. But there was a point where even he realized like coaching in the trenches was more valuable than finishing his PhD. You know? I mean, case in point, look at this clown like Milo Wolf. Went ahead and finished his, produced nothing. And literally just spews bullshit. And trash talks people who were more successful as coaches and lifters than him. And as a one-trick pony, the only thing he ever talked about is what he did his PhD in, the Lincoln partials. I mean, what can you say about that? It's just sad. And to then sit there to have a PhD in gains and make no gains. I mean, are we serious? I mean, when Jason Blaha is more jacked than you at 48, that's not a good look, dude. I mean, damn. Yeah. But no, try to check out Nippard's video. I'm not gonna have time for a couple of days. It's gonna be a busy couple of days. I'll make sure I don't watch my what about Cassidy Campbell? I mean, but Cassidy Campbell wasn't really didn't do a background. He's not an evidence-based lifter. Cassidy was just a younger guy who did whatever to prank stuff. But he would never train hard or anything, and used a bunch of gear. I don't think Cassidy fell into that science-based training though, did he? I mean, he made gains, but I mean, isn't what Cassidy what we saw in gyms all the time? I mean, realistically, how many guys are on gear at the gym who are not really jacked? Pretty common. In my experience over 2.5 decades, dude, there's plenty of guys in gyms using a gram or more of gear with 30, 40 pounds less muscle than I have right now. I'm just saying. I've met a lot of them. And I was meeting them over 20 years ago. Merry Christmas, Jason. Hey, Liberty Garden, Merry Christmas back to you, brother. And I hope that you and your family have an amazing Christmas. Right? And I'll wish that back to you, Liberty. I wish that your Christmas is filled with joy and happiness and good times with your loved ones. And I wish upon you that they are all happy and everyone gets home safe. No, dude, I do straight up Merry Christmas. Why don't you do the happy holidays, man? It's Christmas. And that's the thing. No one does that. That's a myth. Dude, even atheists don't care about you saying Merry Christmas. That's just nonsense myth. They don't care. Right? They don't care. I know atheists who put up a Christmas tree. Right? Yeah, exactly. So Merry Christmas, guys. And peace and love be unto you, man. We're trying with thunderstorms and a balmy 62 Fahrenheit in Dallas, Fort Worth. And I need to check the weather. It's going to be a busy day. I got a fun, awesome day planned. I'm looking forward to it. I ended up getting roped into more things than I anticipated for Christmas, but it's all fun. It kind of happened like a week ago, just over a week ago. I got way more Christmas obligations than I intended to, but they're all fun. It's all good. The thing is, like, there's one of them I'm going to. I don't know a single person there other than who's dragging me along. But that'll be fun. Meet new people. The only 2 of the Christmas events I have is people I know. One is my family, and one is some friends I haven't seen in a while. But yeah. 65 and cloudy in San Diego. Cool. So Liberty, you're down here in Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, in the great Republic of Texas. San Diego, not South Dakota. All right, cool. But you guys caught that deadlift session today, right? You guys see all that? Super happy with that, right? That's also why I got veins. I did forearms at the end. So I did deadlifts and I did wrist curls and stuff after. So it's kept all my veins. We got a little forearm veins going. Yeah, no, dude, I pulled 550 for a triple, nice and fast on the third rep. Looked like I had another rep. Set it down, then did a few back off sets with 500. And then did all my other stuff with some forearms. Right? Although I'm going to be honest, my triceps from that work yesterday, my triceps were cramping on the top deadlift set. Cramping big time still. So that's kind of, I think that's pretty well the limit. Chris, I have done over 600 on this channel on camera at least 7 or 8 times. Going back 4 years, 5 years. The most I've pulled on camera was 635 with a power bar, not a deadlift bar, with chalk and a belt. The most I've pulled ever without a belt on camera was 605, but that was on the deadlift bar. I also did a 625 at that charity event. Well, no, I'm trying to get back to say I haven't pulled 600 in like a year and a half. Hey, Juice, I have no idea. But I'm going to assume that you're a troll based on that silly bullshit. Come on, dude. Since I am not cooking, how would I know what's on the menu? There's going to be whatever there's going to be. I mean, I would assume there's going to be pecan pie at least one of the parties I'm going to. No, dude, you're referring back to silly troll stuff you wouldn't know about unless you watch troll stuff. So let's just get rid of your goofball ass. All right. See, all you do this, man, if you guys give me any hints that you've ever watched any of the crazy, stupid, insane stuff, I just get rid of you. Dude, you just get the fuck out of here. If you even know the existence of that stuff, you're not a person. You're a little cockroach and you need to go away. I don't consider you to be a person at that point. Bye. All right. If both bars, because no actual person with any life or any degree of self-respect or mental health would watch that crazy stuff. So, that's very straightforward. So let's get back over Liberty. If both bars weigh the same, why does it make a difference if it's a power bar or deadlift bar? What do you mean? Deadlift bar whips more. Okay. Liberty, 2 things. Deadlift bars are easier to grip because they're a couple millimeters thinner, right? Smaller the diameter, the easier to grip. Basic physics here. Number 1. Number 2, deadlifts tend to be hard off the floor. So if the bar whips more, it's easier to break it off the floor. Brandon, I do a 6-day split, but I may push it back down to 5. So it's essentially, I have a chest and tricep day. I have like a posterior chain day, like a glute and hamstring. I have a shoulder day. I have a back and bicep day, and then I have a leg day. Now at the moment, I'm adding a 6th day. I was doing it for an arm day. Now I've added it as a shoulder day. Jason is running a fast mile a day on non-lifting day. Assuming I work out 4 times a week sufficient. It's keep you in decent shape. I mean, good is relative. It will keep you in enough shape to run a mile. So that is a relative statement. That's like saying, Jason is benching 225 for a triple every week enough to keep me strong. Right? And I would be like, if you consider 225 for a triple strong, then yes. So do you see how that scales? Do you consider a 1 mile run to be in good shape? Or do you consider a 5 mile the minimum? Or so it's like you have to scale how you define in good shape. And it's kind of a self-explanatory answer. I don't think that we have the answer to that. Hey James, I'm not gonna help you name your daughter. But that's always a good name. It's a popular name. Lots of girls have it. All right. Merry Christmas, Coach. Thank you, strongest strong. Is it strong as hell? Yeah, strong as hell. Merry Christmas to you too, brother. Do you have a bicep and forearm pump? No, I didn't train arms today. Today was a deadlift day. I'm gonna train biceps on Thursday. I did do forearms today. Disclaimer: I did 3 sets of forearms on camera 3 hours ago or so. But I have not done any bicep work today. But I have eaten. I ate my carbs a little bit ago, so that will go ahead and fill me out. Made Confederate beans. That's all complicated to read out. Jason, do you think fasted cardio confers some health benefits that fed does not? Yes. And my friend Alex Leaf agrees that in terms of some metabolic health stuff. Not strong enough. Did he go on to be an MMA fighter? Did he humiliate Alex? I barely remember all that. What would you guess your body fat? I'm gonna go. Let's go 12 to 13%. All right. Bicep vein looking like a garden hose, Coach. Yeah, it's getting there. When it's pumped, it's bigger. Obviously, when I'm doing curls, it looks like this. Or when I do deadlifts, it ends up looking like this does. When I'm just chilling here, not as much. It'll eventually get more and more though. Yeah. Coming along. Oh yeah, he didn't train legs back then. But you know what? The thing is, he trains legs now, so they'll give him that. But that was ridiculous. Like he deterred a lot of people from training legs, and that's, you know, is having veins like that. No, volume work, conditioning, all that matters. There's other factors involved, right? There's other factors involved, but leanness helps a lot, right? Being lean is an enormous factor. Yeah, the legs have come up too. Well, a lot of it's been muscle memory filling back out, throwing a little bit of carbs back in. So I feel like all that volume I did until I got some carbs back in me because I ran months of really low carbohydrate. It just didn't fill back in. Last I checked, you get it. Who you're talking about the not strong enough? Oh, dude, the not strong enough he was always strong. But a 275 strict presses, especially for a guy under 200 pounds, is crazy. Right? That's crazy. I don't even have words for that. Phil, I don't find that it's a big factor. I do find my electrolyte intake affects it though. A 275. The guy's strict pressing 100 pounds over his body weight. Seriously? Let that sink in for a moment, guys. How many 170-pound guys would love a 275 bench? Guy is strict pressing it. That's ridiculous. Refo says, hey, Coach, on my compounds, I do 2 sets of 5, then 1 set to failure because I'm lazy AF. And I'm afraid that I don't train. It might work. How hard are those sets of 5? So give me an idea. Like, are you talking about like my incline tour yesterday, right? Where I did 2 sets of 5 and then I managed to crank out 7 on the last set? That would be okay. But if you're taking your 10 rep max and doing 5s, no, that's not gonna cut the mustard. But if you're 2 reps in reserve on those, I think it's fine. 2 to 3, you might be okay. You're probably in a good spot. So it depends on how large the disparity is there. Yeah, I just don't think the strict press grows most people's side delts that much, but it does for some people when increasing sodium could do it. Like, no, dude, if I upped my sodium, my veins would pop even more, probably. But my Meniere's disease and other stuff, they don't do well with it. It makes my blood pressure go up. So I keep sodium fairly mild. Every time I've gone to sodium loaded, my Meniere's disease kind of started acting. I've tried it multiple times and it starts turning into a problem. Jason, do you think higher rep pull-ups, chin-ups, 10 to 15 rep are better than heavier 4 to 6 weighted chins? I don't know about that. I don't want to go on a limb and say they're automatically better. I think they can be relatively equal. The only problem you got to watch there is those really heavy ones can beat the joints up a little bit if you're not careful. Right? So that's something you have to factor in. You got to think about. I don't know what I want to discuss with Gear Talk. I mean, I could go complicated, but the complicated may not be the advices that I give people. And you guys generally know I'm a fan of people doing tests and then using DHTs to mitigate estrogenic effects. But could I make the case in this modern setup, if people could literally just run tests in a very mild AI and a lot of growth, they could do great. I could even make the case for DECA heavy stacks. I just like Primo a lot. And the main thing, I just like the DHTs for the sex benefits, right? Especially at my age, it's like being able to, pound pussy for an hour is kind of a perk when you're in your 40s, just saying. Usually I get between 6 to 8 on my failure set. Try to really dig deep. I can maybe get more of the results. Okay, no, a refill, that's fine. So if you're doing 2 sets of 5 and then you are getting in kind of in that range, I think that's reasonable, dude. But you may want to work those first 2 sets up a little bit. No, we can make a case for nandrolone for tendons. Primo is good, but DECA's great for tendons, but growth hormone's better. It depends on what look people are going for. I like the drier stacks because I don't want fake muscle. Okay, I want all of this to be real. I don't want an inch of fake muscle or 3 inches like a lot of your bodybuilders. That's why they shrink so fast. So their stacks tend to be a lot of glycogen supercompensation to get that big round look, and it's not actually muscle. Probably Winstrol is probably worth. Trend can be hard on tendons, right? How often is trend associated with tendon ruptures? And how many top-level lifters told you that over and over and over? Andy Bolton. Andy Bolton tells you every single time he's ever got hurt, he was on a significant amount of trend. Every single time. Okay. So something to think about. Jason, for conjugate method, does the rotation and max effort do more to build strength, or is it the bodybuilding work? Build strength? What word are we looking for, Tony? How do you define build? Because the base building will always come from hypertrophy. That's what raises your strength ceiling. The max effort work is what trains you to use the strength that you have. Right? It's what teaches you the intramuscular coordination to get the most out of it. But most of your strength itself will come from your muscle mass. So we need to be clear on that. Or you personally as an individual, not comparing person to person. Like 80 to 90% of all the strength that you gain will come from gaining muscle mass. How fit would I say the average American male is? That's a funny question. The exact opposite of it. The average American male is disgustingly out of shape, to the point where it's a complete travesty. Nobody uses synthol anymore, Chris. That's not a thing, right? You know that, right? I mean, other than in Brazil and all these weird people you see, nobody does that. Pro bodybuilders don't use synthol anymore. Jason, I think the reason you didn't look like you had big delts in your strict press. Well, maybe. No, it's all side injection. Chris, it's not synthol. It's testosterone. It's test, EQ, stuff like that. That is what they're pinning. It's not synthol. They're just using that much test. I mean, some of these guys are using 6, 7, 8, 10 grams of test. That's a lot of oil, dude. They got to put it somewhere. They just cite all of it. If an athlete is already getting plenty of plyometrics, jumping and sprinting long thing, I think there's still a case for dynamic work. Right? It's a case for it. I mean, didn't they do both often at Westside? How often did they do plyometrics after speed boxes? When I was running conjugate, how often did you see me do speed squats with bands and then do box jumps after? Did I ever do it on camera for phases? And I was doing that as a power lifter. Okay. Just saying. So are you trying to maximize explosivity? Then it makes sense, right? They make Rich's sets. But Rich it wasn't side enhancement. Like when you look at Rich's arms, did that look like oil, a side enhancement to you? Did it look like it was in the muscle or it looked like it was under the skin? This is common knowledge of what Piano used. Like this is stuff I would assume everybody knows. I talked about it. His first wife talked about it. It's really common knowledge. It was collagen injections, hundreds of them, right? So that was all collagen under his skin, the PMMA. So he got it done down in Mexico all the time, right? Like this is common knowledge, guys. How does everyone not know this? Like how far out of has everyone forgot all this stuff? Just like it was common knowledge that Rich was a major steroid distributor and that Red was his chemist who ran his steroid lab. And he gave all the influencers and tons of bodybuilders free samples to push his brand out. Like everybody knows this stuff. How do you guys not know this stuff? Everybody knows this stuff. See, that's the circles I run in. So it's like other people out there, if you follow the lifting world and you don't know this, it's just like really weird to me. I don't understand how everyone just doesn't know this is common knowledge who follows the YouTube scene. I don't understand. I just assume everybody talked about this stuff. All my friends did. Everyone in real life. What do you mean? Collagen under your skin? No, it's not as bad as side enhancement. It's permanent though. Jason, what do you think you can possibly hit a squat pair eventually at this level? I don't know. Let's try to get up to mid fives. I mean, I did 500 on a box squat and it looked pretty clean on a 12-inch box. And I should be getting stronger, get my quads a bit bigger. So, you know. Well, Chris, you're talking about now for bodybuilders with all that? That's why they're all addicted to pain meds. Oh, Strong, which guy were you? I did several consultations. I did like 3 of them this last week. Oh, okay. I think I know your trip. Okay, cool. Gotcha. All right. Yep. Yeah, that was a good call. Trip's a good dude. With regards to richness, I think most of us don't have time to follow things YouTube fitness. But halitosis, that's wasn't about following YouTube fitness. Do you talk to people? Do you not talk to bodybuilders and powerlifters? And like if you're in the scene is what I mean, right? Like you can't tell me that you ran in bodybuilding circles, for example, and didn't know Rich's distribution strategy for steroids. Everybody talked about it. Like when hanging out at the gym, if you hung out with the NPC people or any of that, we all talked about it, right? It was just one of those topics that came up. Guys who were on Rich's gear would be like, yeah, dude, Rich sent me this test from Dega. He actually sent it to me as a free sample because my wife's a pro. And, and I'm doing NPC. And yeah, his stuff's pretty good. He gave me some free samples. It's really good. And so we went ahead and bought some from him. So it's like this was normal conversations. No, he was doing it while he was Tony. No, that's why he left California. His chemist died. So Rich left California because he had felony charges pending with his third wife, Sarah, because he beat the holy fuck out of her, right? And she filed police reports because he broke her nose and some of her ribs and everything. And so she had pressed felony charges around the same time his chemist died. So his lab went under and he had pending felony charges. So he left California and headed to Florida. And then he died, within a year. Right? I mean, he was using the YouTube as part of it because Rich was only making so much money. He rented everything. Right? He rented all those cars and rented that mansion. But that was costing him a lot. So his whole YouTube nut was going towards renting that mansion. And he only owned like 10% of the 5% nutrition. Like his first wife owned the biggest share. She got it during the divorce. So Rich only owned a very small percentage, right? No, Greg, I'm not doing it today. I'm doing it tomorrow. So Jason says testosterone itself cardioprotective and high. That's complicated. No, the conversion to estrogen is part of what makes it cardioprotective. He went to Florida Safe Haven for bodybuilders. Yeah. I didn't know the Strength Cartel went there. Matt says, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Matt. Listening to your advice this year is one of the best things I did. Stayed lean, gained strength and muscle. You're one of the few good ones out there. Appreciate it, man. Came for the gains, but got a better life. That's what it's all about, brother, right there. Right? A better life. And I wonder how much of that will kick out me talking all that stuff up there about the Rich thing. All right. No, dude, I'm not hosting anything, man. I'm a guest. And that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it. I'm a bachelor. Nobody expects me to bring any food or anything to my family stuff. And then I'm a guest at some other ones. So all good. So yeah, I'm not expected to show up with anything. I just have to show up. That's all I have to do. If someone starts with tested premium 1-to-1 ratio, which signs you look for when it comes to crashing estrogen, limp dick, reduced sex drive. Definitely your sex drive will go down. Your tendons will hurt. Those will be dead giveaways. Your sleep will start getting disrupted. Those are your big three. If you're not getting blood work immediately. So dead giveaway, because if you're on test and primo, your sex drive should be up. You go down on your girl and you don't get an erection within 60 seconds. You got a problem. All right. Disrupted sleep, getting insomnia, any of your tendons start to hurt without a training reason that would explain it. So there's your big three. You may want to get it checked. You may want to bump the test or reduce the primo at that point. You can take a guess. I don't know about that. Do you recommend any particular place for blood work? Your doctor? There's plenty of online labs, but your GP should do it, right? Your general practitioner should do it. So, how much beef weight? I don't know. It depends on how much I eat. I remember Rick Dresden, but I don't remember what he talked about. It's been so long. I do remember him, and I watched a bit of his stuff back in the day, like 12 years ago. Greg, I don't know how much beef. I guess we'll find out. I don't know how I'm going to go with the food because I've got to hop around to a couple different things, and one of my things is a pretty long drive. I may not go super hard. What do you mean? I haven't seen Vegan Gains' bench press lately. I don't know what's he weighing. How much is he benching? He's talking. I remember that roughly with Rick Dresden. But I appreciate the donation last week, Maddie. But I don't know what's he benching or what's he weighing. But anyway, it breaks down. It'll be down quick. Like I said, I'm going to fast like all the way until the first stop. And some of it is going to figure out how long I'm going to stay. He weighs 220. Are you sure he weighs 220? Is the alcohol and gear combo extra taxing? Depends on the gear, but yeah. Yeah, I thought Richard was like 260 or 270, my understanding. Greg, oral anabolics with any alcohol is deadly. And that's what the research shows. Like, steroids are not that bad, actually, until you start throwing alcohol in the mix, and they get horrific. So you've seen the anadrol alcohol studies, right? There were guys on 100 milligrams of anadrol a day, their liver value stayed in the normal range until they added 1 drink a week. And then they just like got scary real fast from 1 to 2 drinks. Jerry tore his pec with 315. Yeah, both pecs. He tore both pecs on the same rep. You guys watched me do a 3x3 with it yesterday with a pause. And for those curious, I weighed in at 214 this morning. Well, one of them, Ruben, it's kind of play by ear. It's kind of one of those, man, it's not going to be really my call. I'm kind of being drug along to some other events after my family one. How much you reverse the damage from all those years of alcoholism and very violence? Probably none. My liver's been fine. So my liver fat was extremely low on those last DEXA scans. My visceral fat was absurdly low. So I should be good. But keep in mind, Greg, I never stacked orals with alcohol. And it wasn't years and years of alcoholism. It was some phases through there. Yeah. Does low dose growth hormone? Yeah, it can. No, Greg, I mean, I've covered all the history in the past. I don't feel like I need to go into all of it again. I had phases where I drank a lot. But here's your context. I never stacked oral anabolics with alcohol. Like that was not what was happening. Plus, I didn't use a lot of gear during that. I think people were misunderstanding. So I think people had this idea that I was abusing gear during that time, right? Most of that time I was on 150 milligrams of testosterone. I mean, let's be realistic. And maybe a few peptides occasionally, a mild amount of DECA. Like I really liked DECA for birth control, right? During some of those phases, it lowers your sperm count. You know, so I mean, we're talking stuff like 150 tests plus 50 DECA. Greg, I can't give you an exact year. So you're like, when? I don't know. At some point in my early to mid 20s, it's somewhere in there. I did my first cycle. I couldn't give you an exact year. Does it really matter? At least, unlike all the other people you follow, I admit to it. I block. I do block for EDC. All right. So. Abusing, I wouldn't say I've ever really abused gear. That's why I'm 48 and healthy and not beat up and banged up and doing well with my training and health. So let me rephrase that. I feel like maybe about a year in my 20s, maybe around age 26, 27, I think I had a year or so of abused gear. So about 1 year. But I didn't drink, I don't think, during that period at all. Like by abusing, meaning like trying with menstrual and stuff together at the same time. Gilbert, probably not. Oh, by the way, Gilbert. Greg, we've already covered this in vast detail numerous times. I'm approaching year 6 of my sobriety. No, I was under 200 pounds when I did my first cycle. Strong. I don't know because I haven't had a sperm count test. Because I haven't done any fertility treatment. Probably not, but I did do a sperm test years ago when I was running a low dose of DECA with test to get my sperm count down, and it worked. So my sperm count came low. So my girlfriend at the time didn't have to use birth control because she had PCOS and she didn't want to have to use birth control. Greg, you're asking me to remember when I was 27. I'm 48 years old. Okay, so let's rewind the clock. You're asking me specifics about how long I didn't drink and when I was 27. Dude, that's 21 years ago. I mean, you gotta be fucking kidding me. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. All right. Yeah, you're literally asking me, so you had a period of time where you didn't drink around 21 years? Like, fuck if I know. Greg, you're kind of weird with these questions. Let me check something out. Let's see if this is a new account that was created today. Sure enough. Yeah. See how easy that is. So strong. Some of that I would probably need HCG if I wanted to get the sperm count up. But I'm not trying to father children at this moment. It's not on my to-do list. But I'm fairly sure probably 90 days HCG I'd probably be up there. Be fine. If it were my desire. All right, guys, we're past an hour. I'm going to go ahead and wind this down. So I hope it's been informative. I love all of you guys and gals, and I will talk to you next time.